Right, hello everyone, welcome back to Warships. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I know I certainly have had one. I only had work for a little bit yesterday, and no work today, so I could have even gone out for a drink yesterday. It was lovely. Went for a nice meal and everything. I know, shouldn't treat myself, but I did. Today, this is a kind of a short game, me and the tier 8 British battleship, the Monarch. I'm playing with a couple of clan mates, Makas there in the Kutuzov, the tier 8 Russian cruiser, which you can no longer get in the store because apparently it's overpowered with its smoke and ridiculous guns. And also Fluxinator in the Bismark tier 8 German battleship. I will be comparing this ship to the North Carolina and the Bismarck a little bit during this video because, well, mostly the North Carolina because it's quite similar to that, whereas the Bismarck is quite different in the terms of its AA and its secondaries. But first of all, I'm going to be talking about the health of the ships. The Monarch has 60,000.5 health, unlike the North Carolina, which has 66,000 health, so it has a little bit more health. But the Monarch has a slightly better heal, so it makes up for that lack of extra HP by healing back fires. This ship does get set on fire quite a bit, but with its ridiculous HE it can set fires back, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Just want to point out one thing. The little island symbol you can see just below the aiming reticle, that's what I want to call it, means your guns will hit the island if you choose to shoot, but that doesn't mean all of the guns, it just means one of the guns. It means some shells may hit the island, but not all of them, so your front guns could be sticking around the side, you can see the island symbol, but your back gun could still hit the island, so the symbol will remain. Now here you can see me not shoot at the Bismarck, mainly because he was really angled and I had AP loaded and I didn't see the point in just getting a few just glancing shots. I would have only done about 1,000 damage or something stupid like that, so there wasn't really any point firing at him. But then that Tirpitz showed up, and unfortunately I got unlucky and got 3 penetrations, but only one of them counted, because I must have penetrated the turret, not done enough damage to it to incapacitate it. And there you go, you can see with the HE, by the way, on angled targets you can do quite a bit of damage even with just one shell, and the fire chance is ridiculous with these ships. So I set a fire with my first hit. Torpedoes came from my right, so I'm now going to turn into this smoke, see if I can just get off detection, and I do. That's because I haven't fired yet. When I fire in smoke, my detection goes out to 13.3 kilometers, which is ridiculous, but that's battleships. They're not supposed to be sitting in smoke all the time. So when I fire, like I just did, I do get spotted again. Now you're going to see this island symbol in play here. You can see it shows up when I aim at that Tirpitz, but you'll find out that it's only for my first gun, not the second one. The second one will fire straight over the top of it, which you'll see here. See, first one hit, second one went over, so that's pretty good. So the gun angles on this ship are pretty decent. As you can tell, I can get most of my guns to bear at a half decent angle, and with a rudder shift of 15 seconds you can turn angled again if you do happen to show your broadside to someone. Friends, all teammates focusing down that Bismarck, who should go down that. Yeah, there he goes. Oh, torpedoes behind me, I don't want to hit them, so what I do is instead of steaming forwards to try and outrun them, because this thing is a battleship, it's not known for its incredible acceleration, I just keep reversing and turn to the right and hope to miss them, which I do. I would have got hit by one of them if my teammate in the Bismarck there didn't take one for me, essentially. So thanks Makas for doing that, not Makas, Fluxinator for taking that. Now I don't want to sit here because that Hipper is just firing at me and burning me down, so that's a bit stupid. So I'm going to go full speed and try and get out of his fire, try and use that big island over in the over on the west there to try and get in his way. A couple of Dunkirks in the middle there trying to contest the middle, trying to gain control of the area, but the Dunkirk is notorious for having terrible armor. It has 25mm armor pretty much everywhere. In the meantime, I'm trying to get CV to spot for us over in that direction, because there was a Tirpitz over there who's now gone elsewhere, and he's also not spotting a DD, which is going around the back and will in the end torp our carrier. But that's his own fault. I don't think he was that good, but you can't win them all. Fire some HE at this Dunk Q. Does pretty much no damage because I got a couple of shatters, unfortunately. I must have hit the gun faces. The HE is damn good on these ships, by the way. I may have mentioned this already, but the fire chance is ridiculous. I don't get very lucky. RNG is a bit against me at this point, trying to get some fires onto these Dunkirks. Only get 3 damage with that salvo. I'm being fired at, so I need to move forward, try and get that island in between me and the enemy, so I can't get fired upon. Now you see I tried aiming at that Graf's Bay there, but I have HE loaded, so I wouldn't have done much damage to him, and setting a fires on them doesn't do much, mainly because the fires only last for 16 seconds on cruisers now due to recent changes. One amazing thing about this ship is its concealment. It has a 10.9 concealment for ships. That's with the captain perk and the concealment modification on top. I can't remember what its base concealment is, but it's not completely necessary. The North Carolina has a few advantages over the Monarch here. It has slightly better gun angles, and it has 410mm guns compared to the Monarch's 381mm guns. Also, the armor piercing on the North Carolina is super heavy American armor piercing, so it has more penetration and can inherently do more damage, but it doesn't mean the Monarch is no slouch either, as that Graf's Bay just found out with that devastating strike with 2 citadels kind of put him down, and my rear gun finished him off. No, my rear gun put him down to did 22, and then my 2 front guns finished him off. I'm going to try and do the same to this Bajoni, but the Bajoni is notoriously trolley when it comes to armor. Now that AR, Adrenaline Rush, is taken into effect, my reload is pretty much down to 21 seconds. I'm just going to put my plane here to see if I can spot any incoming torpedoes that might come from either side of me, but I don't expect it because all the DDs are gone, and the Bajoni only has only got, I think it's 4-kilometer torpedoes, or it might be 5. Trying to put down this Tirpitz now. One of my turrets will get incapacitated, and I will repair it just because I want to put this guy down. I think in the end, Fluxinator in the Bismarck ends up putting him down. Luckily, this guy is sailing away from me, so after a while his secondaries do stop firing at me, which is always nice. After the buff, the secondaries of the Tirpitz are now pretty much the same as the Bismarcks, which obviously needed to happen because the Bismarcks was not overpowered whatsoever. You'll see the 25mm armor come into play now while I'm firing against this Dunkirk. 25mm is no match for 381mm guns. It just pens it straight through. A couple of overpens as well, but good damage nonetheless. Now, in watching this back, I realised at this point there is only 3 ships left, which, apart from the carrier, but he's attacking other people. So I should have just rammed this Dunkirk and focused fire on the Scharnhorst, but Instead, I focus fire on the Scharnhorst and then try not to get rammed by the Dunkirk. But that happens. Spur of the moment things, you got to make decisions in the moment, and this is what my decision was. It didn't really affect the game because it was going to be a win anyway, but I could have done more damage if I had ran into the guy. See, I took way too much damage there, whereas if I had just angled in, I would have not taken so much damage, and I would have taken out the Dunkirk as well. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the AA of the Monarch. It is pretty good. Oh, it's pretty average on its own. It's not the best. You'll shoot down a few planes, but if you go full AA spec, it can be like owning a North Carolina. Just because it's got a lot of guns, good range, and will do a lot of damage to planes. But if you want to have an AA battleship, I still say take the North Carolina instead, because it's just generally overpowered when it comes to AA, even when it's just base. Right, well, that's this game kind of wrapped up. All we got to do now is take down this Bajoni and the Scharnhorst, but I'm pretty sure we'll take down the Bajoni, but then the timer will basically just run out and we'll get 1,000 points, and that's the end of the game. So I hope I have been informative. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you next time.